All right, guys, we're out here on the water. Got some baits in the water. Trying out a few different things. I've got some live bait over here that is down. I've got stuff different places in the water column. Kind of just trying to see what the fighting fish are. Trying out something new. These are the Crappie magnets, slab bites. Kind of a little scent kind of thing that is really cool. You use them with these jig heads. And if you see that jig head, I'm gonna hold it up to the sky. It's got a hole in it. You take one of those little things and you stuff it into that little hole there. It's a great way to get some of that scent you get with these things. I don't know if you've ever seen these. You crappie guys have seen them. That's basically what they look like. They're little bitty marshmallows. That's the best way to describe them. And come in a little container there. And what you do is, I've already got some in the water. You basically stuff that little marshmallow into that hole, and fills up the hole. Boom, can't see the sky anymore. Got a good little way to get some scent out there. A lot of people like it. A lot of people thinks it helps them catch fish. We're gonna give them a shot today. We're also fishing some Crappie magnet soft plastics on some of these suspended baits we got out here. We're just gonna see what works, what's gonna be the easiest. So again, I'm a live baiter. I'm good at that, if you want to call it good. And you know, the rest of it I'm kind of playing around with and seeing what we can get into, see if we can find a few. Guys, this rod looks like, boom, yeah, there's a fish on it. Hooked up, hooked up, hooked up. That didn't take long. Little undersized one. It's okay, we're happy to have one. We're happy to count him. He'll get a count, he'll get a click. He'll get on the body count, not the size we're looking for. He gets to go back alive. He down, he gone. Yeah, we got fish on the screen. That's a good sign. A lot of stuff holding tight to the bottom. That one's the only taker we've had so far, but it's just kind of gonna be a slow little work up through here to see what's working, see if these fish are hitting. They're deep. You know, we're in about 30, 35 feet of water. A lot of this stuff is held tight to the bottom. And that is just the nature of this kind of late winter, early spring fishing, where the temperatures just haven't got that high yet, or at least the water temperature. It's gonna be nice today. It's gonna be comfortable out here, but we're just not getting those overnight lows high enough to really bring up this water temperature yet. But here's the deal, guys. There's one. As time goes on, the later you get in the spring, more and more daylight's going to bring up water temperatures eventually. And that's just the beauty of springtime. That and turkey season. But that is the perch, the elusive white perch. Funny how those things are this time of year. Actually kind of hard to find schooled up. People ask, where are they at? It's a good question. We catch them out here doing some crappie fishing, but they can be hard to come by sometimes. But yeah, things are going to get warmer. It's just a matter of time, and inevitably it's going to happen. You're going to have some of these little fault springs, as I call them, and that'll mess up where the fish are staged at. You know, they'll pull up and pull into the mouths and all that kind of stuff. But right now it's still cold enough to hold them out here deep. So we're down to days instead of weeks before something happens. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But it's a coming. It's just a patience game at this point. You got to kind of stay on them. Sadly, I'm going to be off the water for about a week because of some other obligations and stuff. I want to be out here fishing. So who knows? It could warm up, could come back, and poof, these things be a long way from where they're at now. And that's why it pays to stay on them, or have a good communication with some people who are out here fishing. Watch those birds that are over that way. They'll tell you something until they leave. On these southern reservoirs, they're here in the wintertime, they migrate in, but then it gets a little too warm, they kind of disappear. So they'll give you some clues for a while. The other thing, sadly, is, boom, got that one. Watch the boats. The boats are going to tell you what's going on. That's going to be one of the big clues. these boats will start to congregate in certain areas, and that'll let you know what is happening. Oh, that one is an Eda. That one is an Eda. He will get the knife for shizzle. Yes, sir. That's a good fish right there. That's a pretty one. Heck yeah. Nice fish. Good color. Good shape, good head. Deep water crappie. Love it. Hit him on my clicker. I'm gonna keep a few today. I'm not keeping a ton. But that is gonna be my lunch today. We'll keep a few. I've been doing this thing with, maybe I'll make a video on it. It's no carb fried fish, believe it or not. Crappie fillet rolled in pulverized pork rinds, using that basically as your flour. Dip them in an egg first, and yeah, put them in an air fryer. Pretty dang good, surprisingly good. Let's see what we got here doing something. Check bait on this one. It's gonna be one of them days we'll probably pick at them a few at a time. They done snuck in there and ate all that. That just ain't right. The Johnny Rocket Bass Boys are out this morning. Beating the banks. Beating the banks. It is a Saturday. That is the way it goes. They're gonna be out here. It's a halfway decent weather day, and they're gonna be out beating the banks here, doing their bass fishing. Give me that little feller. Get him hooked up. Boom. That's the thing, a lot of my fishing recently has been out here during the week, so I'm not used to seeing that many boats. And that's the beauty of wintertime fishing. If you get out here on the weekend, you got some visitors. Man, there's fish all down there. It's just a matter of finding a dumb one that wants to eat what we are offering. That's a fish, dude. That's a fish right there. That is a fish. Maybe that little jigging action got somebody to bite. I don't know. It's a small fish. That's a fish. Master Putch. Mr. Putch. Not what we're looking for. But proof of concept anyway. Generally, the perch are away from where the crappie are. Generally. Usually they're a little bit shallower. At least in the winter time. Don't know if that's the case today or not. We got one fish here. Subtle bite, feels like a crappie. By the way, I call them crappie. I call them crappie. That would be a perch. Fooled me. Well, we're not where we want to be if we're catching these things. Shoot. There you go. We may have to make a turn to some deeper water. Let's see. Fish catching is working. Bang, got him. Fish catching's working. Oh, he popped off. Catching lunch is not working. We're not gonna get a meal doing it this way. It's all right. I'm patient. I'm patient. I know. Everybody says you need a sonar unit at the back of the boat. True, probably do. I know. I need live scope. I know, probably do. I'll be honest. And I'll probably add it at some point. I just, right now I like doing it the way I do it. God knows there's enough people out there live scoping for crappie. There's enough for those out there. Plenty of people doing it. If you're wanting to learn how to live scope for crappie, there's a ton of them out there doing it. Y'all can learn from them. I have nothing against it. I don't know, maybe it'd be fun to watch for some people. I've watched a few people doing it, just to kind of, you know, get a feel for what's going on. It's pretty interesting. It is a skill set that most fishermen don't have, plain and simple. But I think if you're a good fisherman, you can figure it out and dial it in on how to use it to your, you know, to your advantage. It is not a cure-all for catching fish. You still got to know some things. You still got to have some angling skill. And boom. It'd be interesting. I might have to go out with some people and do it and see if they get me addicted. Shoink. Another one. I'm gonna chunk this one. I don't want to mess with the little bitty one. I don't want to mess with that. I'm gonna let him go. Feeling passionate today. Boom, here you go. Going down good today without a whole lot of effort. Get this one in there. I ain't really had a chance to work these. I was working that jig a little bit a second ago, but I don't know if that incited some of the bite. As soon as I started doing that, we started getting bit. So, boom, he's on. He was on there. I seen the thump. It's a very subtle. It's a typical crappie bite. It's a very thunk. Very subtle bite, and not killing it. There's another one that's legal, but man, I don't need to cut up a pile of them today, so let's go back. Doink. That minnow on there. Some of y'all, you'll notice I throw these fish into the water. I need to throw that one. I probably should have. He struggled to go down. When you pull these things out of super deep water, they have a hard time going back down. So what I do is I face plant them nose first, pinch their mouth shut, gill shut, real hard into the water. It helps them go down and they're not flailing around on top of the water. Most of the time, even when they're on top of the water, they're, oh, is he there? Yep. They'll go down eventually, but they also get eaten by osprey and eagles and everything else. Not that those animals don't need to eat. I don't know. I just feel like if these fish are giving, that's what we're looking for. If these fish are giving me some entertainment here, I guess the least I can do is get them back down there and get them into some water that's deep. Now that's a good fish there. That one's nice. Yes, sir. That's a good fish. Get him turned that way, you can see him better. That is a good looking fish. That's one we're sticking a knife in. Boom. Run back down. Like I said, I ain't even had a chance to play around with my jig stuff. I just got them swimming along, but I'm not really, I don't think, trolling fast enough at this point. I do some long lining later on when fish are up in some of the creeks and stuff. Trolling a little bit faster, and I do that with jigs, but I get that line out. I don't think I've got enough action on these things to inside the bite. Could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not Mr. Genius crappie fisherman. but I'll catch a few. Get this where this thing's at in the water column. Oh, he hit that bait. I may just have to focus on the live bait. Boom, got him. Got him. As soon as I work those jigs a little bit, boom, I get hit. I don't know if there's correlation, causation. Dang. We'll chunk him back. We'll chunk him back. We'll put him in the let's go, let it go and let it grow file. See what I do? Pinch him. Boom. Fish goes down. Still got fish. Still marking them. Boom. Got that one. That ain't a big one. But we got a fish. We got a fish. Another barely legal one. Barely legal. 8 inches here. The bunch of these ones I'm releasing are coming in at around 9 inches. So they're just not going to make it. But again, shoot, he went down good. He cooperated. And that other one's gone just like that. So, doink. Boom, got him. Boom, got that one. This one feels better. I'm going to the, oh, he pulled off. I think he pulled off. Nope, he's there. Or did I have two? Definitely a fish on this one. Definitely a fish. Boom. That looks funny. I think there may have been two that hit this bait actually. I don't know if that one stayed on or not. Another, oh, he's close. He's close. I'll stick with the big ones. Boom. Boom, boom. Ah, can't tell if that was a hanger or a fish. Boom, that was a fish. I felt that one. Guys, I may just have to do away with the jigs. I can't even get over to get those things set up to get working them. It's a good problem to have. That is a good problem to have. Catching fish. Can't work more than 2 rods. Yep, there's another one. Boom, good one. See if we can get him to go down good. Boom. There we go, there we go. Oh, there's a thump thump. Boom, he was there, so I felt like he swam up with it. That one in the gear. Easing him up, easing him up. Easing him up. We'll cut that one. It'd be big enough. He will make the cut. We're getting there. That one's big enough for a sandwich. He'll go on there. Little tacos. Tacos, as Crappie Man's jig says. I said I would feel bad. I was wanting to play around with the jig stuff a little bit, and it's like some of these little double jig rigs that some people have told me to try, and I ain't even had a chance to mess with them. We'll see how they spread. Let me take a look at it. By the way, these are some of the Temu reels I got in the mail to try out a while back, and to be honest with you, hadn't had a real good chance to put them to work, but kind of been playing around with them some now. Got them out here. I figure for crappie fishing they'll be absolutely fine. If nothing else, they're pretty. 1000 series, perfect for crappie fishing. Perfect. Let this swim around mid-water column. Where are we? All right, we're in the ditch, where we need to be, the river ditch. So we're right in the strike zone. Make sure these are on the bottom. Yep. It's on. Oh, boy, I dropped that one just to make sure it was on and see if he's there. I like the tip on these precision cast rods. I also like the fact that they're not super long. I'm not a bass rod kind of fisherman when it comes to crappie fishermen. And a lot of that's my style. Again, some of that may change. When I start throwing some jigs or something like that, doing some of the long lining, fishing on the bank, I probably might like some of that. But that's an eater. That's an eater. Boom. There's another one for the taco assembly. Actually, I don't eat tacos. I just eat them like this with some of this really good tasting Duke's dip, Duke's mayonnaise, buffalo dip, something new they got. So anyway, enough with my yakking. Boom. Oh, missed him. Get him back in the holder. Boom. It is interesting that when I start playing with that jig, I've gotten hit every time. There ain't nothing to hit the jig. Fascinating. I think the bait's going off of that one. Nope, it is not. That is a fish. That is a fish. Whiz hooked up. Yes, sir. By the way, guys, these are Runsell reels. I got these things a couple of years ago to try out. I'll try to remember to put you a link to them. Very inexpensive reel. And yes, it has, oh, that's a good one. It has braided line on it. I know. Very light braided line. Well, I say it's light. It's strong line, it's just very thin. So my point being, you can catch them on braided line. When you're a novice crappie fisherman like me, you can. The pros use mono and do a much better job with it, but I use the mono, and this is kind of what I get. So that's what it is. Go. That's an eater. In the eater pile. Now, why would you not want to use mono? Well, a lot of people are into seeing their line. Those are the professional crappie fishermen. And seeing that bite, and they want the high vis mono line. Some people say the crappie can see the line when you're shallow, so they want the low vis. The bottom line is, guys, this does have a mono leader tied onto it, just FYI. That, stuck a hook in my finger. That'll hurt, that'll bleed. All because I was trying to get over here to get a hold of that fish that is on this other line. Patience is your virtue. And it's a good way to keep your fingers from getting bloody. That one going down. There we go, get the messing done. The smart man just reaches up here and pulls it off instead of trying to untwist stuff. Not a smart man. That's the key right there. That's the key. Yeah, I do stuff a little different. I do a very simple way of crappie fishing. So if you're trying to figure out how to crappie fish, I can teach you the simple way. The fancy stuff, you need to go to Crappie Man Jigs. He'll teach you how to do the fancy stuff. Great channel, by the way. Boom, another good looking fish. Let me knock this one into gear. Take that all day long. That's an eater. As I've said, this is, relatively speaking, an easy time of the year to, oh, is he getting bit? To catch crappie. One, if you can stand the cold, and two, if you're not like Mr. Jig Fisherman. I guess you can do this jig fishing. I know you can. And the other thing to keep in mind, not every crappie in a lake or a river is in deep water, believe it or not. There are some, and probably, be honest, and again, I'm not a tournament crappie fisherman. If I was one, you probably wouldn't be fishing here. You'd be somewhere else looking for those solitary fish. Bunk. Because just like with catfish and bass, not everything goes to the same place at the same time. There's probably the tournament winning fish in this lake, 2 1/4 pounders, are probably solitary fish. Maybe in a creek, shallow, you don't know. They could be living on a lone brush pile in a place that is not surrounded by fish. We're gonna let that one go. Boom, got that one. So, while this is a good method for figuring out how to catch these fish and learning a little bit about them, probably not gonna win a tournament out here. So, that's my non-tournament fishing help on that one. Oh my gosh, speaking of winning a tournament, oh, that's the one right there. I'm sitting there talking about winning a tournament, and I catch this beast. That right there, guys, is what wins a crappie fishing tournament. That kind of fish right there. That is the one you're looking for. If you want to win a tournament, that's the one you're looking for. Yes, sir. Good, good, good looking fish. Maybe I need to keep talking about tournament winning fish. That right there is a beast. A beast. Wow. He does get eat. All right, so maybe there are some out here. No, again, I think if you were really good to be trying to pick some of the guys now with the forward-facing sonar can see these fish and pick out. I mean, they will ride around looking. Those are small, and look for a single fish like that and try to target it. That's what forward-facing sonar has done to the crappie fishing world. But yeah, the whole forward-facing world, it's changed it. It's changed the game, and it is what it is. Whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. But there's a lot of different ways to catch these fish, and you don't have to have it. So, and this proves it. This is very, again, simple, old school crappie fishing. This is old school fishing here. This is not anything that's super fancy. So it is what it is. We enjoy it, have fun doing it. Again, it's something you guys can do. This is truly crappie fishing for dummies, because if I can do it, you can do it. It's a good way to catch these fish, enjoy the time on the water. We're gonna see if that one will stay hooked. Old mouths don't always support that. That's a keeper. That's a keeper. We'll keep him. We'll keep him. Nah, we'll chunk him. Let's let him go. Boom, he gone. That one's still there. That don't happen often, guys. Them old mouths get torn and they will lose some fish. Again, catch the fever rods, precision cast rods, and some cheapo reels. That one, oh, he's gonna make it, and he will get the cut too, baby. He will make the cut. So, get him in the boat. Look at there, good looking fish. Good looking fish. Man, sakes alive. Thank you, Lord. That's good catching, good catching. Keeping track of all that I've caught. Hopefully, I got track of all of them. And keeping a rough count on how many I'm keeping, because I will not keep 20. 20 is our limit. 8 inches. And I pretty much made my mind up today. I'm going way bigger than that on the keeper fish. So, like I said, this is fun fishing while it lasts. It's not always comfortable days out here because of the temperatures. It's not always the best conditions because of winter. I've had some, if you watch any of the videos, some real struggles with the wind. Battling the wind in those conditions. So, but if you can gut it out, you've got the opportunity to catch some fish. Takes a little work to find them. You know, you get on some of these schools and they're around and then they move. And you're like, where the heck did they go? But you do it a little while, you'll kind of dial in some of the productive areas. And they're usually, you know, a lot of these are associated to creek mouths, and they're usually within a couple of miles, or a mile section of some of the major creek mouths. So now, depending on how deep your creeks are, how big your lake is, you will have these fish pushed up into those creeks also. So, but again, it's not always just deep water. You can catch these fish in other places, as I said before. Just because a lot of them are in this type of water right now doesn't mean every fish in the lake is in this water right now. A little bump. Getting a little bit deeper here, I can tell, with the bottom contact. It is interesting how you can come through these pockets of fish. And let's see if I can get this closer to the bottom. That is a fish. Oh, missed him. Missed him. Missed him doing a rod dance. Might have got bait taken off of both of these. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. That's a fish. He still had bait on it. Ah, came off. I felt it pull. We'll go ahead and check it at this point. But the Manster braid is what I've been using. It's an affordable braid I found online. Try to remember to put you a link to that in the description. But I was using that. I had used Andy for a while, and I can't find it anymore. So this Manster is a very, I want to say it's only maybe 20-pound line. It was funny, the our 15 or 17 is real thin. I mean, there's one on that jig that was swimming. He thunked it pretty good. Yeah, I had a company reach out to me, and we're talking about the braid, and I said, they were trying to sell me some heavy stuff. And I said, I don't need it for catfish, I want it for crappie fishing, perch. And finally I think that is what is on here actually. So there's a crappie, there we go. Little crappie magnet doing its job down there in the deep water. The old swirly tail. This one, again, I don't even know if this one was set at the right depth for where these fish are. It was set where the right depth was for this fish, but I had these things just kind of down there and didn't have a chance to really get them set up good because we started catching fish so quick. That, my friends, is a good problem to have. I'll put the old dead minnow on this thing just to sweeten it up. It's a little rig somebody told me to try. I said, put you double jigs on there and put you a sinker on the bottom. Let it bump bottom or right up off the bottom. Any of you guys that crappie fish, I would love to hear some of your ideas on how you rig for crappie. I'd love to hear it because, like I said, I'm learning and I am dumb enough to come out here and try stuff. So there you go. But you know, they were saying fish this thing, you can either bump it on the bottom like that or you can pull it up suspended. I think what I'll do is pull it about 3 cranks off the bottom. Like I said, I don't even know where that thing was at last time when I got it down there. So I think these have probably been robbed of bait. Keep looking back at the screen. I'm gonna make a turn and go back down through there. I don't see as many arches here, and that is something. My dad's got motors on. Yeah, but that can happen. You can have these fish in a pocket. Boom, I got something, and then you get down away from them. So I know they're down there, so let's go work that. What's that clanking? Ah, it's my bimini. There we go. Get this puppy. That puppy. Boom. Another eater. Maybe I shouldn't make the turn. Maybe I ought to keep going. We'll make a little turn. We'll go back to where they're at. Got in here. Now it's funny, when I came in here a week or so ago, there we go. I went to where I was going to come here. It's somewhat of a community hole. And I got in, there's a couple boats sitting kind of in this area. And I went up above them and or downstream from them. And, you know, I didn't want to get on top of them. And didn't mark as many fish, caught some fish, but they were not stacked up. And one boat left, another boat left, and I was left with one guy, and I kind of slid on down, and boom, that's where the fish were. So literally a half mile away makes all that difference in the world. So just keep that in mind. I think one of the things I heard on the Crappie Man Jigs video was the more gas you burn, the more fish you'll catch. And you've heard me say that, fishing for catfish, fishing for striper. Sometimes you got to burn some gas. You got to cover some water. And that's sometimes what pays off. You just have to put in the time on the water, covering water, to find the fish. And because they're, you know, sometimes they're in a lot of places. A lot of times they're in a very small area. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. So we're back turned around here. Sun's going to shift around on us. We're going to get these baits dropped back down. And we'll get pulling down through here. Yeah, this stuff that I got from Crappie Magnet, I talked to them at iCast. And very nice young man that I had a chat with there and gave me some of this stuff to try out. You'll be seeing more of that stuff as we get into some of the springtime fishing, the long lining, that kind of stuff, because that's when that stuff really, I think, has more play and more use. So, in on there. Yes, I don't use the best crappie hooks in the world. People give me crap about that too. Who knows, somebody may change me. They're just the same thing I use for white perch fishing. They're just either number 6 octopus hooks or some of the circle hooks. Maybe I'd catch more fish if I use some of the Aberdeens and stuff like that. The Aberdeens are easy to deal with. And probably a bigger hook too. You know, you look at most of the Crappie jigs and the hooks are bigger hooks. Let's see if the old sunglasses are in here. A regular pair I know I took out. Oh, did I take them out of here? Yeah, let's see. No, not in that case. How many Costa cases do we have? Come on, baby. One pair, not a pair in there. This ain't looking good, guys. This ain't looking good. I wrap them up in here sometimes. They're not in there. This is going to be a no sunglass trip. Oh, God. Bingo. Coasters, baby. Oh. Now I can see. Well, once they unfog, I'll be able to see. Oh, glad I got them. So, this is a different pair. Boom, got him. Than I normally wear. I usually have my Zanes on. This is a different pair of Costas. By the way, I am not sponsored by Costa. But Costa, if you're listening, DM me. Go. Boom. Boom. Hey, there we go. Another one. Bada bang. We'll chunk him. We'll chunk him. He gone. He gone. All right, let's see what we got here. Get him in there. Yeah, I was just getting ready to check some of these baits to see where the heck everything was at. That going down. This one. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Sorry the POV camera is looking straight into the sun, but it's the joys of fishing at sunrise. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. I love to fish. I love being outside. But I don't know. I just love watching the sun come up. I love pulling out of the house and the sky maybe just barely beginning to glow. Something about it. Thankful for another day. Another day to be doing this. Hate to get all philosophical on you, but there is something to it. Something to it. By the way, give you a rundown on these rods. These are 6-foot medium light, 10-pound test lines. What it's designed for, 64 to 1/8 ounce lures, and good little rods. Good little rod. I like them. Now I do have one. If you've been wondering, this one over here is one of the big spider rigging rods. Brought it today. Was going to mess around with it. Be honest with you guys, I hadn't even had time to rig that one up. That's 10 or 12. I can't remember which one that is, but it's a boom. I'm telling you, dude, that jigging, if it don't do nothing else, if I can't catch a fish with it, I at least make some mad. Just some action brings action. We don't want that. We don't want to wake up the perch. Don't wake up the perch. Let the perch sleep. There you go. What's amazing is the perch do much better being pulled up out of deep water than the crappie do. Oh, that one was trying to sneak up on me. Did you see that? He tried to sneak up on me. No, no, no. No, can't sneak up. Can't sneak up. Get that baby up here. That baby up here. Heck yeah. Boom, another borderline one. Legal, but I don't know if I want to clean him. I'm happy to catch him. Let's let him go. Boom, he gone. I saw that one get hit right as I turned around and released that fish. For y'all that are wondering, yes, I am trolling through here. Cruising through at about 0.4, barely moving through here, just dragging these baits by these fish. If I was long lining, and I'd love to get y'all's feedback on this, the way I do it is, long lining, for y'all that don't know, is basically putting lines out behind the boat. Jeff Manning taught me how to do that. And basically you've got suspended lines behind the boat. The boat's going faster, 0.6, 0.7. Some people will go 0.8 with them. And they're way out behind the boat. And that one's aggravating. Depending on your jig weight, how fast you're going, what weight line you're using, will dictate where those baits are in the water column. And it's a little faster trolling. I've heard of people trolling faster. I've never done it, but your line, your jig weight, all that plays a part in where those lines are. And usually what we do is we stagger the lines. So yeah, you're going faster there. Here, I'm just kind of creeping along, just trying to see where some fish are, and then if I see them, slow down. So, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. I've got a little more of a tailwind, and I'll slow the boat down. So now listen, we got great weather. We got virtually no wind. This truly is crappie fishing for dummies. This is perfect conditions, because if you would look up some of my other crappie fishing videos recently, you'll see one about fishing in the wind. That day was an exercise in frustration, patience, editing out bad language. Actually, I didn't start cussing, but it makes you want to. It can be a pain in the butt. Anytime, and this is honestly true for any type of crappie fishing, winds, the less wind the better, because especially the guys that are jig fishing, wind can be a pain in the butt. Maybe knocked into gear. Boom. yeah, wind can be a pain, and it's just hard to see your line, hard to control a boat. But it's also, to a certain extent, your friend. You know, you've heard me say, you run from the wind, you run from the fish. If you got wind-blown points and wind-blown banks, it's pushing plankton up there, it's pushing bait up there, you should have fish. Crappie, whatever you want to call them today, are a very predatory fish. And, you know, they are much more oriented to bait schools than, get that out, than, you know, like when I fish for catfish. So, you know, you run from the wind, you're going to run from the fish. But this makes doing everything we do a lot easier. A lot easier. The boat movements, everything. Come on, baby, come back and hit it. Oh, I thought I felt something. One thing about the bite, guys, you've seen some of these load the rod up and move it pretty good. Some of these, all you're seeing, it's just a boop on the rod. And you may ask, how do you know the difference between that and the bottom? Well, part of it's just experience. You'll start to notice that, you know, the bottom's going to have a different look in action on the rod. You know, that's dictated by what kind of bottom you're fishing. If you got a silty bottom like this, it's going to look different, a little more subdued than a place if it's really rocky. So some of that experience is going to be your teacher. So, and listen, I'm learning on this stuff. A lot of this stuff is just me figuring it out. I'm just dumb enough, not ashamed enough to show y'all me screwing it up. So again, part of doing this too is I invite all the good crappie fishermen out there, chime in the comments. Drop some hints, drop some advice, drop some tips, because everybody learns. Everybody learns. I get out here unashamed to do any of this stuff, and you know, y'all can come in and rip on me and, you're doing this wrong, you need to do this. Let me know, because it will not only help me, over there, but it will help all the people that are reading the comments. And people read the comments. And it's stuff I can put into play. You give me some good, crazy ideas for stuff, I'll do it. That's where some of these other rigs have come from that I'm playing with out here. So, again, all I'm using, the ones I'm killing all the fish on are high-low rigs. It's got a sinker on the bottom and then 2 hooks above it spaced out. Very simple rig. And I've got videos on how to tie the knots. The sinker's just tied on there with like a surgeon's loop. And then, actually, I just use a surgeon's loop for the hooks too. No big fancy hook tying. I'll show you that in a second. An undersized one. Boom, he gone. But yeah, there's the rig. And 1 hook, 2 hooks, and then just a little sinker below it. Nothing fancy on the sinker. I played around with different stuff. All different kinds, and it doesn't make a difference. It's amazing that this sinker dragging through all that crap down there does not affect the bite of the fish. Baffles my mind. But and meanwhile, you got people worried about what kind of line you're using, and there's a piece of lead dragging along the bottom. So we're hooked up again, by the way, in case you're wondering. Feels like another small one. Boom. Yep. Again, whether you want to eat these things or just keep some, throw them back, whatever. I'm doing them with over half these fish today. They're fun to catch, and it's a relatively inexpensive fish to fish for. It's not going to cost you a fortune gear-wise, tackle-wise to do this. You don't need super expensive rods to do this. You know, I'm sure as you do it more and more, you'll find certain types of rods that you really like and you want to try out. But, you know, the bottom line is You don't have to spend a fortune to do it. These precision casts are a nice rod. It's got a little more nuance to them with tip action and just the way the rear part of the rod is set up with the handle and everything. But you know, you could literally do this with a Walmart rod, a bass fishing rod. Might be a little bit harder with an old catfish rod. You do need a little tip sensitivity. But a lot of different stuff out there that'll work for you. And again, I'm not using, probably this is one of the forms of fishing that you can use about the cheapest reel out there. Not one, you don't need a Stella on here to catch these fish. These are, you know, this is not a place for the most well-made precision Japanese engineering fishing reel. This is the El Cheapo. They're nothing but something to take the line up, basically. No need for super smooth drag. But with that said, you can use your higher dollar reels and you'll catch fish just fine. You'll get into this and you'll find out they've got crappie fishing reels, and they've even got some little small like round reels, bait casting type reels for some of these rods. And you can, as with many things, spend as much money as you want to pursuing these fish. And people do it. People do it. Maybe I'll get to that point. I don't know. It never happened with catfish. I mean, I fish for catfish a lot, and I've got good stuff and use good gear, but I never got stupid crazy with, like, you know, $90,000 boats and stuff, because I'm a firm believer boat has nothing to do with catching fish. You can tell by looking at this old school boat. Here's a great brand, Lund, but as far as the look of the boat and all the aesthetics of it, not there. It takes rough water. Ah, dang, that one getting away from me. This thing takes rough water great. It's got a lot of room. That's feeling perchy. And yes, you can fish a rod in each hand. It's got a great motor on it, but it's not a, I'm not sitting, I didn't spend $90,000 to go buy the boat. So, those boats nice? Yes. You got the money to buy one, buy one. Do you have to have it? No. Some of you best crappie fish are going to be out here in a John boat tooling around fishing. It's interesting. It seems like the bite is slower going in this direction. That may just be because of where I'm at fish-wise. See, that's looking perchy. That bite right there looks very perchy. We're going to find out what it is. May not be. Yeah, does the direction you're traveling have anything to do with it? It can. I don't know if it does today or not. Yeah, that's perch. Depending on what you got going on current-wise, what water's doing, more water's flowing. It could, look what he's got in his mouth. He has set it here and ate a bunch of my stuff. There's a minnow off another one. That little sucker has been in all my fish. He gone. And he gets a reprieve. I'm in a good mood today. I'm in a good mood. I'm blessed. Blessed to be out here. Blessed to be catching some fish. Letting a lot of fish go today. I am letting a lot of them go. Ain't gonna take many to fill me up today is what it comes down to. Good day of catching, I'll be honest with you. This is the sun, you can see just up over the trees here. Probably got about, I don't know how much time we got here. This is pretty much probably going to be almost an unedited video. We'll probably let this one roll uncut. That seems to be the popular thing. Y'all give me some feedback on that. I'm trying some catfish content that is uncut. 3-hour video. Some people love them. I absolutely adore them. Some people hate them. I'm not doing all my content that way, but a lot of people do it just for the money side of it. And if it's enjoyable for you guys, let me know. We'll do more, but let me know your thoughts. Right now I'm doing a mix is the bottom line. There's gonna be a traditional mix of the stuff I do. Some, you know, longer form, some stuff that is, you know, the shorts. People still like the shorts. And yeah, a good little mix. Come on, fish. I think he might take my bait. Another little pop poppy. That or they're hitting the sinker on the bottom. Don't ever dismiss that, guys. That's it. My baits are still there. You will have these fish, and this is true with catfish rigs too, hitting that sinker going through the mud and the silt down there. That happens. What was that? In worst case, you know what we'll do? We'll get back to our whole jig. Again, I don't know if I hit a feed window or if some of these fish have just shut down or if I got off of them. That's another thing that can happen. It is like sometimes these fish move and poof, they gone. The other thing that's always in the back of my mind is boat direction. Am I going the right way? Like I said before, sometimes it makes a difference. Sometimes it don't make a hill of beans difference. Big thing is, if you're not getting bit and you've been getting bit, keep an eye on your baits. Especially if the perch move in. Those perch, you saw that one perch, how many he had in his mouth. They can come in here and eat your baits and be gone. I drag around here and see exactly where these little babies are. I got time to go get my coffee. Dude, coolest cup in the world. I showed this in a video one time and they went crazy over them. This actually is the boat board, who is the cooler company that makes my cooler. This mug, okay, watch this. This is a cooler up here, boat, B-O-T-E. It's got a magnet in the bottom. It sticks to that. You can literally open it up like that. Isn't that cool? Boatboard.com. Got more coffee here. Yes, I'll put you a link to those things. It's cool. It's a cool cooler. It's actually a cold cooler. But anyway, that was a bad joke. Yeah, I got them on board this year. So on board, there's another joke, boat board. It's B-O-T-E, by the way. And they're down, funny, was doing some college football, University of Texas. And we're going to get barbecue, Terry Black's. And they've got a store. They do a lot of kayak stuff. So you guys that are into kayaks, you may be familiar with it. It's a hit. What's weird here is all of a sudden the bite has died. Not getting bit. Not getting bit. Gonna keep an eye. Some of the fish are disappearing off the screen too. I'm gonna work my way back over to this point and see. There's one. There's one. Again, these fish could be just traveling down, so you gotta kind of play that game a little bit. Better fish anyway. Boom. Real good fish there, dude. That is a real good one. What we've lost in the numbers, we are definitely making up for in the size. That's a good fish, guys. It's a real good fish. You get the knife. See, I don't know. I'm not sure what is up with the bite slowing, but man, we'll take it. We're still catching. We're still catching. Maybe sad. Heck of a morning. How many I got in here? Damn. Definitely got enough to clean and eat. I'm calling it a good day. Forgot them last two. I've clicked off 20. I don't know how many I've actually caught. If any of y'all kept track of how many fish I've actually caught. Drop it in the comments. It'll be interesting to see how many I've actually caught. Boom, got him. I probably got about 12 in the tank. I'm pretty sure I've got easily double that many. So it feels like a better fish. I need to get him to this side. Oh yeah, that's another eater. Boom. That is another good looking fish. That. Boom. Boom. We'll cut him up. I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna call it a day. That's a lot of fish. I got a lot of fish to clean, a lot of fish to eat. Pretty dang happy with the bite. So I appreciate y'all checking it out. If you like the crappie fishing content, or if you like the crappie fishing content, let me know. We'll do it some more.